Hello everyone, Manathrall here. Welcome to a weekly update video for RuneScape. Now this week there is not a whole lot. It's mostly a patch week because we're still within the Menethos month. However, starting next month we should be getting back to regular updates for a few months until the next expansion drops. So without any further ado, it's going to be patch notes and the Cyweir offhand and more. So, this week's update's all about small but meaningful changes, brimming with crate full of goodies for us to enjoy. The few highlights are that the Orb of the Cyweir Elders, it's a tier 85 magic offhand, can now drop from Hellweir in the heart of Gillinor. Active scrimshaws can now be removed without needing to be turned off, which is kind of nice. Channeling combat abilities can now be halted by clicking away, preventing some nasty Ripper demon related deaths. You can now right click effigies to select skills. Pretty nice. This is the following shops will now restock at 0 UTC game time. Garrett's Fishy Business, Shantae Pass Shop, Lumbridge Fishing Supplies, Fremenic Fishmongers, etc. Fish, Island Fishmongers, Fernahai's Fishing Hut, Gift Shop, Fishing Guild Shop, Ava's Odds and Ends, Slayer Equipment, probably means all Slayer boss or masters, Contraband Yak Produce, Ali's Discount Wares, Baba Yaga's Magic Shop, Magic Guild Store, which is the Runes and Staves, Void Knight Magic Store, Lindell's Arena Side Rune Shop, Tutube's Magic Market. Before we go any further though, live streams this week as well as the Razer GameTap laptop winners is coming soon, and it should be announced. The winners will be announced in next Monday's news post. So good luck to everybody. I hope somebody, well of course somebody's going to win, but hopefully it's well deserved. So for this week's live streams, Tuesday, June 27th at 1600, July the month ahead, which says their new Slayer boss comes into game next week. It says, are you ready for a sneak preview of Orb? As well as loads of more other goodies. Tune in for the month ahead. So I will be trying to check that out if as soon as possible. Of course, I won't be able to during the game time because I will be at work. And July 2nd, Sunday, at 1800 game time, is PVM with Mod Lee. Now, we're on to the patch notes. Okay, skills D&Ds and minigames. Bladed Dive no longer deals damage while used during global cooldown. The value of items stored in Nomad's chest is now listed on the interface. Adrenaline is now cleared when switching PvP target by using Bladed Dive while on global cooldown. While using combat channeling abilities, you can right click away to stop the channel. Attack checks for Staff of Sliske Shadow Clone have been tightened up. The following fixes have been made to Scopuli. Scopulus will now correctly find his partner if he has been apart from him too long, and then find a new target. Provoke should now correctly draw Scopulus to you. Note provoke will not work when Scopulus is in search for his partner. They will no longer switch targets if they are within range of each other. They will also now switch target if they have been stood in the same place for too long. The players will now always face the low shield wall on Birthorpe Agility course because, before playing the climb over animation. Slayer helmets now correctly equipped from the bank menu. An informative tooltip has been added to all summoning familiar pouches. Viswax is now taken after confirming your Harmony Pillar reset rather than before. Ogres will no longer instantly despawn in your player-owned Slayer dungeon. You will no longer receive a message that you've unlocked an XP boost for Slayer when adding the same soul to the chest in your player-owned Slayer dungeon. You now have a chance to get Ushabti from the Rush of Blood D&D. Players will now receive 250 reputation for each new Slayer monster added to the Slayer Codex, and retroactively awarded 250 reputation for each already added. Fishermen have found their way into the docks of Menifos, so now you can partake in the Fish Flingers D&D. Strange rocks can now be obtained from all fishing spots, excluding those within Demonheim. Acadian logs will now have the same junk chance as magic logs when disassembling. The casket salvaging scrimshaw will now work while fishing in Menifos. The polishing perk will now work on fish caught in the Ports District in Menifos. Quest challenges and achievements. Movement abilities are no longer blocked during the Plague's End boss fight. The missing Memorial Crystal tasks have been added to the Master Quest Cape achievement tab. The correct task is now displayed upon completing the That's Not a Knife. The Soul Talisman staff can now be added to your keepsake box. A spelling mistake has been fixed in the name Katsanova under the Feline Good meta achievement. Some of the Rune Treasure Trail armor has been renamed to help prevent trade scams. They now follow this format, Rune Plate Body, and then quote Bandos instead of just B. Extraneous spaces have been removed from the end of the Wiccan and the Fairest of them all titles. Boxing gloves can no longer be dismantled. It is now possible to extend time of existing portables by using the extend portable option on your portable object. You can now buy and sell the following teleports on the Grand Exchange: Imperial, Merchant, Port, Worker Districts, Soft Venom Slayer Dungeon, and the Shifting Tombs. The warning message previously displayed when trying to attack Desert Mining Camp guards has been removed. Iron Men can now use Shield Dome and Prism of Dowsing spells. A new option has been added within to Wythian and Perfidus. You're now able to exchange Motherlode Maul Enhancers and 4 Motherlode Shards at a 1-to-1 ratio. On top of this, you can exchange used enhancers for a percentage of the shard. Shout out to Mod Raleigh for doing this in his spare time. Ninja fixes. Removing active scrimshaws will no longer require you to turn them off first. Attune Crystal Teleport, Armor, and Weapon Seeds have now Destroy option instead of Drop. You can now disassemble Crystal Tree Seed Blossoms for a chance of crystal parts. Active spells now have a red outline for main hand spell and a yellow outline for offhand spells selected. It is now possible to split the attack, strength, magic, defense, and constitution subtabs out into their own window. You can now right click effigies in inventory to select skills. The spell Crystal Mask can now be cast again to refresh the effect before the buff expires. The clue scroll interface now displays scanning when scanning. Quick Lodestone teleports now play override landing animations. Non-treasure hunter skilling outfits should now redeem from the Ango. Players can now give inventory to the Beast of Burden familiar by using the familiar menu or by setting the left click option on the summoning button. There is now less chat when paying Zanibotch to enter the Brimhaven dungeon. An offhand has been added to the pair of the Wand of Cywir and is obtainable obtainable from Hellweir and the Heart of Gillinor. Familiars will now be force called to areas when teleporting, provided they have room to enter. The stock of the following shops has now reset to 0 game time, which we just went over that, so I'll skip over that again. Group members should now broadcast their death to the party. The Slayer counter can now be expanded for further information on your Slayer points, Slayer task streak, and current Slayer assignment weakness. Well, assignments weaknesses. From the Slayer counter, click the Slayer icon to expand the window. Hotfixes. Luck rings now improve the rare drop table for Sophanum Slayer dungeon creatures, and the daily limit was removed from the Aiding Exile event. So that is it for this week's patch notes and updates. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.